Hey, how you doing?
Marilena is on her way.
Wait,
Who's
I'm not yelling. Oops.
who tends to who's overseeing the trial tonight?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, understandable. Oh my god. I'm glad we sorted out that conversation with Turner. That was really pissing me off. I'm gonna be honest. The whole thing with the SIM card. I don't know if y'all caught it all, but I know Grayson, you were the
Yeah.
Falconer was the one that voted against that.
No, I mean, so TLDR, there was a lot of things said in the PD meeting that made me want to go up there and just kind of say, hey, it's a new line of justices. So, and number two, and this was the sticking point for me, is like, I don't want to see at least the LSPD be just crying about shit when they have avenues to put things forward, because crying is a waste of time, especially when there's a new opportunity in front of us. So, you know, it's
I kind of here's the thing, right? Like I said to Turner when we got him privately, like, I don't mind some banter, right? You want to take some shots, that's fine. I'm okay with it. I just don't want accusations to be made. Like, say if it's not me there, right? Say if it's Jaina there or one of the magistrates, and they now feel unwelcome and they don't want to engage anymore. You know, that's my worry.
For the SIM card thing, though, it's been like a persistent thing. So for me, that's not banter, right? It's like, you know, I love talking shit too, right? But like, it's, if I say it once or twice, like, you know what I mean? There's like shit talk, but then if there's a certain problem that keeps being brought up, it's not banter. It's like, no, they got serious issues with it and they're refusing to fix it. Like, I don't know.
I like, here's the other thing. I think that, like, when I'm there and like 2 weeks ago and I'm just a judge and I can't fix anything, that's one thing, right? But if you've got issues and I'm now a justice and I'm there every day, just talk to me.
In the room.
Yeah, like talk to me. It's easy.
Yeah, I mean, that's what rubbed me the wrong way, especially like a captain is posting meme shit talking a different department when I don't even imagine the nuclear fallout that would happen if we did the same thing. Not that we ever would. But.
Imagine if we had a court case and we started just shit talking one of the PDs.
Oh my god, that'd be funny.
And then just arrive on scene and start criticizing all the stuff.
Hi, Princess.
Hello. I'll go other side. Go Murphy's seat.
Do we know if
Perry, she's thinking about food and then she'll be here.
Gotcha.
I assume you guys don't
I don't
mind
feel
if we record it and
bad,
then
chat.
share it
I
with
just
everyone?
defend. I don't take sides, man.
Tablet stuff, huh?
Unless there's a side that needs to be brought up. I'm here for the bigger picture. And the bigger picture means not everyone is right all the time. That's,
I'm gonna say share with everyone. I don't mean, you know, to the public, but like just for everyone that's here in case they need to refer
on that
back,
particular thing, I take the side of the people, right? Not parties or individuals. That's the right side. In that particular thing, it can't be put on the DOJ. Oh, man. Oh, my God. Ugh.
Hi, Barry.
All right.
Hi.
Yeah.
You are struggling.
I am. My goodness.
Yeah.
I'm a little sick.
Oh, shit.
Oh no. That's illegal. Doctors can't get sick.
Do you get confirmation Gates isn't coming, Sean?
Princess, it's called
She's not.
Okay.
Oh God.
She had
I'm
3 hours of
sorry.
sleep, so she's probably catching up on that right now.
Feel better.
I'll try.
Were you waiting for anybody else? Oh,
Most of my staff today. So now you can stand over here if you'd like.
Sorry.
Yep. You're good. Most of my staff is out today. It's I think it's like, I don't know, it's like a holiday or some shit. I don't really.
Yeah, it's a
That's
bank
on
holiday
Monday.
on Monday and the UK.
Yes. Oh, but
Princess Perry, you guys got anybody in your cabinets that you need?
I texted Murphy, but if he's not around, then I should be fine about it.
oh, Cinco de Mayo. Mm.
It is the 5th of May.
Yeah.
Yep. In the U.S.,
We
that's
can-
where we drink on. We just drink. It's kind of like
Mexican St. Patrick's Day.
yes, kind of.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
every
I'll bang
Friday
on
in the
Monday.
UK.
Yep.
Yep.
Same here.
Like if you start a sentence, Cinco de Mayo, it's where in the US we ... You've already... It's already a strange way to put it.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know. I think it might be
United
the
States
Day
is
of
a
the
strange
Dead,
place,
maybe.
Princess.
I know it's
I guess
tacos
so.
and tequila. It's tacos and tequila. This Cinco de
From the
Mayo.
US,
Yeah,
but it's not our holiday.
I mean, it's a holiday in the U.S.
Yeah.
Technically, every holiday is a holiday in the US. It's the same day. It's just
Yeah,
means something different. It's not like...
Look, you guys have appropriated it, and that's, you know,
I mean, I moved to
kinda
the
what we
US and
do.
I realized
America
that
loves
St.
that.
Patrick's Day was actually about green beer.
Wait. Actually, it's
Gross.
Google says Cinco de Mayo is an annual American celebration held on May 5th to celebrate Mexico's victory over the Second French Empire at the Battle of Pueblo in 1862.
The French? Oh, I'm on board.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's Mexican like cultural heritage day.
Oh my god.
right, we good to get started.
Why is Google saying it's an American holiday and then ends it with about some other... Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
Central American, I guess.
That's true.
Oh,
America
true.
does-
That is true.
Yeah. Well, Mexico's still North America.
I don't think that's what it means.
Are we going to run these going forward the same way that they used to be run when they were...
I feel like
fairly
colloquially saying it's an American
Basically,
holiday
the
does not mean
legislative
it's in
authorities
America,
are the
though.
people who talk, but we can have other people here to watch.
That's such
I
a
think
weird
so.
way to put it, though,
It
right?
depends how much you wanna
Annual
let people in,
American
'cause then
celebration.
I think
Yeah,
Nino
but
said
that
earlier,
implies Canada
one
as
person
well,
comes and
right?
another person gets invited
I don't
and then
think that's what
sort
that
of snowballs.
means.
Mhm.
I don't think that's what that means right there. Hold on.
I think it's important to stay on track, right?
Hold on. Does this...
Yeah, right. I've started the recording, so we're good to go.
Does this... Is American? The Battle of Mayonnaise?
Well, let's not all talk at once.
No, it does mean...
I'm trying to pull up my stuff. Sorry.
Sorry, I was looking up Cinco de Mayo stuff.
I know we have action points to work through, right? I know.
No, it
Nino
does
has put
mean
things up
United
on City
States.
Hall that we probably want to discuss. Do we want to just go over the, the rundowns of what our weeks look like, what we're all doing, so we all know what we're involved in before we begin that?
Yep, I'm down.
Okay, so I'll start. Obviously, the Department of Justice has experienced quite a reshuffle over the past few days, right? On Thursday, I believe myself and Justice Elizabeth Gates were appointed, thus, bringing the justice numbers up to 4. There's myself, Murray Falconer, John Danielson, Elizabeth Gates. We haven't discussed
We got
the fifth,
successfully gaslit.
but we're actively all working on something. Internally, we're focusing on writing up bar guidelines, bar review guidelines, things of that nature, so we can actually get our shit in line and figure out our own internal standards. Someone's going to take responsibility to responding to the LSPD and the letter that Bailey wrote us that I'm sure you're all aware of. That's going to get done. I personally have I overtook basically every court case against the Department of Justice this week, and I'm trying to get resolutions on all of those. I've settled 2 or 3 of them already, and I'm attempting to settle the final one tomorrow so that we can start with a clean slate going forward and there's no outstanding court cases against the department. Then, obviously, we've talked to you both previously about our plans to work on legislatively the 2 major pieces of legislation I think are a foundational need looking at immediately: search and seizure and due process. Those are generally our major action items right now, and then obviously just getting the docket under control, which I'm sure you've noticed is a little wild at the moment.
Okay. That's very good to hear. I think
Yeah, I'm working on a case law from a case I had the other day about if first degree murder has been pressed, then second degree manslaughter are also on the table as long as they have been proved. Because it was a case of where they tried for first degree and they probably would have got second degree had they done it. Because I was convinced, the guy on trial had killed the person involved, but they never got to the premeditation part. So I'm working on that. Whether it comes in the way of being downgraded in deliberation or being allowed to say, if it's more applicable, we'll charge this. But only in regards to murder, not every charge, just in those cases.
makes sense. All right.
And then for myself personally, this week is gonna be working on the penal code stuff. I think me and Michael are gonna sit down someday this week to just kind of break through all that and get that stuff reset. And then I'll jump on with him as well to help you guys do the legislate, like the criminal codes that you guys already started with the one posted today.
That would be great. I spent I think all day yesterday on that, like trying to perfect the format and the writing and so when y'all do take a look at it, there may be decisions I made in there, and if you have any questions as to the why, don't hesitate to ask. Everything from the way it's indented to the way it's categorized, I kind of went hyper OCD mode, knowing full well that once it's in there, it's going to be hard to change. You know what I mean? But in regards to the penal code, what may I ask? Like, what is that? Is Michael going to be helping to add and change the things, or like what's the open line items? Like, is there?
What do you mean?
Well, what is the meeting about? Like, what's the agenda?
Oh no, it's literally just to physically change it back.
Gotcha.
To revert.
Can we ask IT to see if they can export like an JSON file? Because I think they may be able to, and they may be able to import it back. And the reason I say that is the charges, I would presume, exist in a file, and altering that file is probably a million times easier than manually entering it back in.
And then doing it on the MDT.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when we did the change before, that was suggested as an option. But given the spotty response that is sometimes occurs from IT in the state. We found it was just quicker for me to go in and do it. When I did it, it took me like 3 hours.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I figured.
Especially if it's just changing numbers, that shouldn't take, a couple hours at best.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, shit.
It's mostly going to be changing numbers and then just the outright removal of some charges, right?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Like, I agree. If we could have a, almost instant response of getting the file, change it, then send it back, and it getting changed, that would be quicker. But when I did it before, it was just like, I can guarantee that I'll be able to get it done in a couple hours. So that's what we did.
I have a question about the penal code changes that may come across as stupid, but we'll see. As of yet, I don't think that there's been any sort of specification within the penal code itself as to what is a violent versus non-violent felony. And considering that there are certain civil penalties that apply to only violent felons and not non-violent felons, I feel like it would be ideal if there were either a specification for that or or there were a way to, in cases where it is contentious, like define something as a violent or non-violent version of a felony, because sometimes it seems like it can be not necessarily obvious, and depending on, for example, if you're going to, I don't know, get a weapons license or something, depending on the judge you talk to, they might define something as violent or non-violent.
Some of them are definitionally designed not to be specific, right? So like reckless endangerment, for example, right, is one that is often argued in court about whether or not it is violent or non-violent for that very reason. I think that is best dealt with in case law.
Case by case.
I think that maybe case law, right? I think because like the reality is reckless endangerment of somebody does not necessarily need to be violent, right? It could just be through careless disregard, but it can be violent as well, right? Depending on your intention and what actually subjectively happens in the event.
Right.
You could separate those charges out into violent reckless endangerment and non-violent reckless endangerment, or you could just allow the judiciary to have some discretion there. I understand that can be complicated. I don't think that necessarily means it's a problem.
I
think on our end we could. I think on our end we can have our judges who are like people who are issuing these weapons licenses. Look, it might be tough for clerks. So I think in those cases they'd have to go to a judge, but I think the judge can go and look into the incident and where they got charged and see if it is violent or non-violent.
Right. Okay. I guess the only issue then would be the potential that one judge thinks one way and another judge thinks another way, and potentially you could get your weapons license,
Yeah, but that's how
by
its
someone
system
and
works.
removed by someone else for the same exact crime.
Yeah, but that's intentional.
But I'm sure it's that I think is a rare scenario anyway, so it's probably fine.
Okay.
If you have specific examples of crimes you think they're being charged and used in, like, they're being defined as violent, but you don't think they are, and we need to reword it, that sounds like a perfect reason to be, like, looking at the wording of charges, right? So it is more defined. But there are some that are gray areas on purpose.
Right. Okay. That sounds good to me.
I do think that it wouldn't necessarily. I mean, if there was certain charges that are inherently violent and they need to be called out, that could be done in the criminal code. But I think generally speaking, I also agree with Grayson here in that, like, for example, kidnapping is inherently violent. I don't think there's a non-violent example. I like the reckless endangerment one. It's so intent based that the crime can be the same, but one could be a violent case of reckless endangerment while another one isn't. So specificity of it.
Yeah, I had this conversation with Michael a couple weeks ago because if, maybe it just goes into philosophical things that don't even need to be discussed, but if kidnapping is violent because of the threat of violence, even if you don't commit a violent act, you are threatening someone with violence, then would criminal threats also be considered a violent act?
Mm.
You know, there's
It
and
is.
then, you know, if it's not considered a violent act to threaten someone with violence, then potentially you could human traffic without ever actually committing an act of violence, and
It's
then
not
that
just
wouldn't
that,
be
though, Princess,
violence.
right? It's not just the threat. It is the moving of the body. You are moving somebody against their will. You are negating their autonomy. You are physically moving them, right? Now, if that is gunpoint, you're walking yourself or not, that you're still being moved, and that's an assault.
Okay.
So that's why it's violent.
Yeah.
I could probably keep asking a bunch of questions about this, but I'm just gonna
We
leave
can
it to you
talk
guys
law
because
all day long if you want, Princess.
No,
It's fine.
I
No,
mean, I think this is a good conversation. Like, I think
Especially
that's
with
what
the
this
criminal code
room's
coming
about.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it definitely it shows that there needs to be, and Michael talked about this a lot, about, you know, the potential for like charges to have an upper and lower limit, or like range, as opposed to just being one thing.
Mm.
Because then you have situations like, you know, with reckless endangerment, where you can have someone be recklessly endangering people by, you know, I don't know, by walking in the middle of the road. But then you could also have someone recklessly endangering people by, you know, getting the plague and coughing on a bunch of people, which arguably should be a
Yep.
whole lot worse. But the fact that it's, you know, that's what people struggled with the Chatterbox situation, is that there's no, you can charge them with reckless endangerment, but it's just such a small charge for something that seemed very, very intensely, you know, a huge problem.
Yeah,
I
so
think any of us
that's going to fall into the category of like enhancement charges. So, and unfortunately, the MDT does not. So when you think about when you put someone in for murder, right, or any one of the HAG charges, enhancements are sort of baked into it as a consequence of it goes to court, and then based on the circumstances surrounding it, a judge is able to rule on whatever scale the time and fine should be.
Right.
That scale does not exist with non-HAG charges, but the means by which what you're talking about is it will be TBD resolved is through what we're going to propose as enhancement charges. So
Okay, yeah, that's what I talked to Michael about. So that sounds good. Okay.
yeah. So to give an example,
brought that up to me as well.
yeah. So there could be like the baseline charge, but effectively the other things that are occurring are enhancements. Like there would be charges that are only applicable if there's a primary charge. So
that's why we'd call these aggravating and mitigating factors, right? So aggravating factors would be, you know, extreme violence, you know.
Right.
It's like
So,
it's
like,
like the FAFO
yeah.
charge we have right now.
Yes. Which I love to sit down and have conversations with. There were a couple of charges that used to have underlying legislation attached to them. The FAFO charge, criminally negligent ownership of a firearm. Like those two charges used to have legislation underpinning them that provide a lot more context to their use. I think without the underlying legislation, I think, you know, maybe we should look at, or, you know, assign a select committee to looking into whether or not they need to be repealed.
I don't disagree. I do want to bring up a really good example, actually, of enhancements. Bribery and extortion, right? Bribery is like $500. And what will TBD, I think this is the first, I don't want to get too deep into it because this has been cooking for a minute and not everything's kind of solved yet. But the idea would be you can get bribery, but bribery as defined in legislation will be it's $500 plus it can be enhanced based on the amount of damage, right? So if I bribe someone and the damage was resulted in something violent, right? Like I bribe someone to like not stay their post at the train yard, right? And it caused like a train wreck, right? It's enhanced as a consequence of those actions. There might be charges that exist, but there may be monetary things associated to it as well, right? So
who does that monetary relief go to, though?
Well, that's a separate topic. And separate in the sense that today, the way that the money is, and I'm separating only because of the following, is it's 25% LSPD, 25%.
Right.
You know, technically our system is kind of scuffed in that the money that the PD gets is not going back to victims. It's going back to their coffers, right?
Right.
So, in an ideal system, I think as we discussed previously, Princess, is if given the option, some percentage should be going back to the counties, and then it is to those counties to then pay that relief.
We're
Appropriately.
talking
That would
about
be great.
legislating a special victims relief fund again. Those
Well-
are interesting times.
Well, it's more than just that. I mean, it's more that when someone is found guilty and there's, money is paid out, or people pay their fines, the fines should be, I forgot what the word is, but those fines should be going to victims, to the government, et cetera, et cetera. Today it goes to the police department. So victims never get their relief, right? If
And
someone,
the police department is incentivized to essentially give people the heaviest charges because the money goes directly back to them.
correct, yeah. So instead of the mayors budgeting the PD based on needs, they get their needs by, if the courthouse was blown up today, the PD wins. If they catch the people with the bomb.
Yeah.
Whereas we get to sit over here and we get to do our meetings outside on the rubble.
Well, right. And then, for example, imagine if the courthouse is blown up
Restitution, thank you.
and they catch the criminals, then arguably it should be the police paying for the courthouse to be repaired because they're the ones that actually made the money. But instead, probably Nino would be paying for it because it's in Los Santos County. Or the state,
Well,
but still,
it would be
it's
state, yeah.
Yeah, the idea, of the counties have money in order to, provide infrastructure and build back things. It's kind of useless when the police, are making that money and then just using it for cars.
Yeah. Restitution. That's the word.
Restitution.
Yes. Fines are largely about restitution, but there is no restitution. Right?
I mean,
Especially because a lot of the time the victim is the county or the state.
that's the philosophical argument behind it, right? The philosophical argument behind it is we get to punish people, we get to send them to jail punitively because somebody has created a crime against society. They've created a wrong that has injured society as a whole, right? That's also why we find them. We find them so that, they are paying their debt back to society as a whole to make it whole. And then obviously, if victims should then be suing civilly to make themselves whole.
Yeah, but I'm not whole in this scenario.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
She's got a point.
which crime hurts you specifically?
Well, like
If it
crimes
hurts
that
my
affect
county-
their
Yes.
crimes that affect
Yeah,
their
yeah.
county, like drug.
But the county
crime
makes
and
no
all that.
money from fines.
Mm-hmm.
Which also means that the police budget for a long time, I mean, at least in terms of Blaine County, for a long time last month, the BCSO account had more money in it than the Blaine County account.
I mean,
And
I'm
that
gonna be
doesn't
real.
seem
I once proposed the split be a three-way split involving the counties. So it is what it is. If we want to revisit that, I'm open to the discussions, if it's possible at all.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's definitely possible. We just got to push something forward for it. I'm going to say that just to add to this, if you think about it, Princess, we've been losing money from the beginning because if you think about where we're putting the money, right, it's a consequence of people having no money because they're not getting restitution, right?
Yeah.
And technically, we
Again,
pay the
individual
PD.
citizen still does have the right to sue civilly, right?
Well, yeah.
If they're
Well-
getting restitution directly, do they then need to civilly sue ever after criminal action?
I think the way I look at the formula is myself and Princess pay the PD. We pay them more money to have more police. We pay them, you know, for the food, and that is with the intention of reducing crime. But when they make the arrests, that money goes into their coffers, which makes them, you know, do more. So we're paying them for a benefit that doesn't actually come back to the county. So it's kind of like, in an odd way, it's kind of where, in a very strange way, the county does not actually benefit from their existence, except for the insurance companies associated with the banks.
Yeah, and you know, even in a lot of cases, we lose money when they arrest people because they're arresting the people. We have to, if it's a drug related thing, we have to pay for the locals to go to rehab. You know, if it's a car related thing, we have to pay for the tow truck drivers. All of that, you know, costs the county money, but we're not seeing any of the money coming back from that. So whether or not there's civil restitution required for like individual victims, the county is always the victim.
Yes, I agree.
Whatever happens, you know, and I don't know if it's as true necessarily for Los Santos County, but at least for Blaine County, we're always the victim, because if a car is used in a crime, we lose money because the car gets towed. If you know, if drugs are used, we lose money because we have to pay for rehab. If a bank is robbed, we lose money because, you know, the bank needs to be restocked or whatever. It's nothing ever comes back to us, so we're just paying out. Essentially, we're just paying for criminals to keep doing crime.
I think it's a very simple change. I think we just have to agree on how it's chopped up. I think a lot of it's going to come down to what the feds want. I think, you know,
I think McNulty will be happy for a decent split. I mean, I don't know about Turner, but is that something we should legislate separately?
Oh, we can 100%. Like, I think maybe like I would recommend doing something separate to begin, and then I can always latch onto it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the only reason why I would want to do it not separately is just because I feel like you've got more likelihood of actually having things legitimately change than I do.
I am very persistent. That is very true.
Yes.
Quite openly, I brought up the topic with Turner, and we have a bit of an internal agreement to handle it. And so that's why I think it might be better for you to run it, because I think Turner and myself, we can just fix it amongst ourselves. And obviously my budget is not as you're in a much bigger predicament than I am. I will, however, say I will try to understand the feasibility for things to change at a different level. As history lesson, I asked someone to give the PD their budgets a long time ago. The intention was for the PD to feel all right, this is okay. The PD was supposed to be responsible for all the court cases that they brought to the table, right? But they were also supposed to self-fund. But at the time it was made, there was an expectation for the quality of the police departments to be higher than, quite frankly, they turned out. And I know that might seem mean-spirited. I've seen a lot of generations of PDs. These ones are significantly more cooked, and a lot of responsibility isn't there. Like I said, money is used to buy, like you even said, it's used to make cars or whatever. System didn't work. It sucks. It needs to go back at least to a place where the county is making the money again. A percentage comes to us, percentage goes to the PD, and if they need more money, they come to the mayors, they have a conversation like this, and they get more of that budget. It makes sense. If the PD's pissing off the population comes to us, we can question it. If they're losing lawsuits, we can question it. As a consequence of this, my office is actually going to be looking to take over all civil lawsuits with that happened in Los Santos County coming soon, and that's our way to resolve it. So
and we've got our temporary fix too. I mean, McNulty is going to be implementing monetary incentives for people who do good police work and patrol in Blaine County. and that's
They didn't
gonna
get
be
the
using
100
police
million?
budget, and so he's had me decrease the BCSO pay down to 2,000. And so that the monetary bonuses will come from the BCSO as opposed to coming from the county. And he's also using the BCSO budget to sponsor events that BCSO will be strongly encouraged to attend. So that's our
Oh yeah.
current fix. But I still think that if there's a possibility of changing things in a more
Systematic way. I
salient,
agree.
yeah.
I think people in San Andreas only understand buttons really well. And so if the button is fixed, it's probably less headache for us anyways.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Just hit the big red button and then everything's good.
So I know you guys are hearing this first here. I'm glad, Princess, you brought that topic in because it's kind of segue to that. Los Santos County is starting its own special prosecutors unit. That is only going to be there for civil cases pertinent to LSPD and Los Santos County. And it's by and large a consequence of some of what we just discussed, but also because it makes more sense in my mind, is that if something happens in Los Santos County, like an entire vehicle gets the Raymond Romanoff case, 4 months it's taken. It's insane. 5 months. It's not on you guys. It's just shit happens. I want our special prosecutors to be able to take on that civil lawsuit, take it, because they should be suing the county, right? And the special prosecutors are going to review the case, and internally we'll have a means by which to figure out how much the payout should be, if there is a payout at all. And the idea is to come to a resolution instead of having it sit in limbo forever. I want people to feel it's normal to sue when they are wronged, when law enforcement hits them the wrong way, and they should be compensated. That special prosecutors unit is going to be aimed to make sure that people don't get paid too much, but they get paid reasonably. Less shit's on the docket. More things are discussed in a meeting room like this, right? Any questions or thoughts on that?
I'm assuming this is just the next stage of hiring Bailey, right?
No. Bailey is uninvolved. He's going to remain as the advisor.
What I'm getting at is once PD started hiring legal experts to be on staff, it seemed to me fairly obvious that some kind of legal counsel in-house was coming. But it's going to be county-based, not LSPD-based.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, they're going to work directly for me. And so what this is going to allow us to do, and this is very experimental, right? But it seems right, is it is going to allow there to be effectively a handshake with me and the chief, right? Shit happens. Let them do what's necessary. He's going to do what is necessary. Bad things happen. We negotiate, and then it becomes like a talking point, right? Like, hey, the county just had to pay out $5 million because of X, Y, and Z. Stuff happens, right? Content happens at this table if it was on TV. So that's kind of the angle we're going with. And so we have 3 bar licensed attorneys ready to go on that, and you should be seeing legislation coming soon in that regard. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask then?
Mm-hmm.
And this is just me looking down the line, right? We've talked about how we need to get the Department of Justice in a stronger position before the idea of a state bar association that is separated out, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that works if you're setting up an internal, civil law firm to protect the state and its interests, and then oversight of the attorneys? There's basically you're gonna have fingers in both pies, right?
I would say it needs to be disjointed. They will work on behalf of us, right? They'll be cleared like bar licensed attorneys, whereas the bar association should be disjointed.
Okay, good. As long as you see the conflict before it arises.
Oh, 1,000%. It will not be the bar association in and of itself needs to be self-regulating, or not self-regulating, but rather needs to be a separate entity. In that, hypothetically, if let's say, I don't know, an attorney was a special prosecutor for the county and they were subject to bar removal, that bar association should be empowered to remove that bar license irrespective to whom they are working for. So that process should be self-regulating, very similar to how our removals are self-regulating, right? Impeachments, ACRs, etc. All right. Okay, cool. Oh,
Perry, do you have anything?
Nino had an O.
Nino had an O.
I did. I'll let Perry talk first, though.
Are you sure? Because I have. One moment. There's my list.
We stopped the terrorist attack yesterday.
Nice.
I
Yep.
heard.
Oh, is that the Vinewood sign thing?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was crazy. Some operation was happening. I went to my bat cave, and then by the time I came back, it was all sorted. So they there's probably going to be a payout for that or whatnot, but apparently a lot of shit went down last night. Yep.
Batcave?
Yeah, it's in the PD. It's
okay.
Yep.
Have you seen the BCSO embassy next to MRPD?
I did actually see that yesterday.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So
They made a nice little place.
yeah. They ran into Ventura. He said he wanted to, hang out in the hole. Next thing you know, they're calling it an embassy. Is they're not trying anything crazy, are they?
No, actually, I think the biggest issue that I think Ventura's trying to. McNulty
Where
bought
is
an
it?
espresso machine.
Yeah.
But it arrived when McNulty wasn't around, and so Ventura took it and put it in his secret little clubhouse in the south.
Yeah.
And so I think he's just trying to see how long it takes for McNulty to find it.
Gotcha.
Where,
All right.
where's this little thing?
It's on the road, wherever the road that has the back door to MRPD,
Okay.
like with the gate. It's on that road. Like it's like Blarney's. It's a little like garage open spot. Nice place.
I have to go see that.
Let me see. Sean, did you want to help with the criminal code stuff?
I do.
Oh my God, thank God. I was dying yesterday. To be fair, it's going to be a lot easier now. You know what I mean? Once the template's in, it's like, you know what I mean? It's
No doubt.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I figured that'd be a part of me helping with the penal code stuff as well. Is
Hell
being
yeah.
involved in that.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Nino question.
Yep.
Did you self-nominate yourself for my round table?
No.
Hey, because I've got the whole round table. I've got nominations going, and someone nominated you. I said, the question is like, what constituency would they be representing? So it's like Harmony, Toledo, Grapeseed, whatever. They put other category, Mayor of Los Santos County, Nino Chavez. And then for what makes your nominee qualified to represent this constituency, they just wrote, why not?
Why not?
Hey, good point.
I genuinely put good money that Michael did that.
That might have been
That
Michael,
is
yeah.
true. Yeah.
That sounds like a Michael thing.
I'll say that is such a Michael thing to do.
Yep.
Right. I have found my notes. Where to start? Shit. I think it's good for both Ellis and Blaine County. We're slowly but surely starting to give out the permits for the pharmacies within your counties. I don't know. I've still got a few things I'm working out with the lead pharmacist at the hospital, but we're slowly but surely, hopefully, going to get our first couple of pharmacies pop up.
I don't want to. Can I ask a quick question on that?
Yes.
How do they go about getting the licenses? Are you doing it through the website, the same way people get the moonshine licenses, or are you doing it a different way?
I've got it separately.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I've been
only
trying it out.
this may be completely
Hmm.
off the board, but let's say the police were investigating into the business for some reason or another, and they need to know whether they had a pharmacy license or not. Is there a way that you can tell them, or what's the sort of...
What I'm gonna do is it's gonna be put on the person who owns the business, owns the pharmacy. It's gonna be put on their profile. They are the one that has the pharmacy permit.
Okay, easy.
Yeah.
That's all.
It's gonna be on their profile.
All right,
so.
nice one. All right, sorry to interrupt. I was just wondering.
No, that's a good question. Don't worry about it. I'm going to limit it to 2 pharmacies within Blaine County. And then possibly 2 to 3 in Los Santos County, give or take, and depending on the time and stuff. Because I don't want too many people getting it, if that makes sense. Because I don't want too many people having pharmacies at the current time until we slowly get it sorted.
May I ask?
Yes.
And this is part of I think the bigger concerted effort that I think kind of lands on all of us collectively is the notion of reducing the number of legislative pieces. In that, is it possible that as a part of when that does come out, that it could potentially be rolled into existing, like something like that's already there type thing? So in other words, like there's Oxy I don't know if there is a document that would contain it, but
as in like what the document has for what is like the prescription stuff and that?
Yeah, sure. Like
it's dosage.
Oh, yeah. Like could it go in there perhaps? And
possibly. I'm also reworking dosage actually on that front as well.
Easy. And I don't want to make it sound like it's like this has to be done, but it's a consideration I think we should all stop making is that we have gotten to the point that there are so many, including the state ones, right? We've got business license protocols and like weapon and driver's license. We should, I think, at our forefront, as we write things, introduce things, or even retroactively go back and start pushing bills to combine some of the logically similar pieces of legislation in a combined documents. Given that we've already kind of gotten to a point where no one outside of this room, I think, can realistically keep up.
So I mean, just looking at it, right? Drug oversight. So dosage, pot, the Licensed Pharmacist and Prescription Act, and pharma could probably all be together, right?
Yeah.
I'm working on making dosage a little bit easier to read as well, so I could probably work around a way to get them all into one.
Yeah. Like you could even take, in theory, you could even take what you got and do like Article 1 is about illicit drugs or something. Article 2 is like, what is it to be a pharmacy? What is you know what I'm saying? Like turn them into articles instead of their own legislative pieces. And
Perry, how do you plan on picking the people? Because I'm assuming there's probably going to be more than 2 to 3 people who apply. Is there a certain way you want to do it, or?
So they're giving me business proposals, and I'm going through each bits, and we're going to like talk to them
Mhm.
basically, how do I say it? Who's a good Helios.
Yeah.
He's a good like he has been actively like showing that he really wants this. It's stuff like that. So far there's only been 2 people that have applied.
Chat, watch
But
this.
Helios
Watch
has been
this.
one of those people who's been helping me with this and has like been showing.
Watch this,
like,
chat.
If I see like if it's somebody who's basically just putting one in to put one in.
Watch this, chat.
And
Helios.
they like no.
Which one's
Yeah.
Helios?
He's Michael's son. He does a lot with the rain. You know the business, the rainforest down in Vespucci.
Mhm.
He's got like a whole project going on down there.
Maybe. Okay,
Yeah,
it
the
doesn't matter. I was just
the
kinda...
rainforest. Yeah, the rainforest is what he's trying to get the
Razel's
permit
son.
for. So he's Razel's son? Wait.
Yeah.
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 the
Oh
hell?
shit. Huh.
He's so innocent.
If you do want any help with kind of vetting people, just let me know. 'Cause
Yeah.
I can always lend a hand.
That's kind of something that we're trying to do as well. So, I'm working with the
Isn't that
person
funny?
that I've basically handed off lead
Such a great
pharmacist to
actor.
within the hospital. So I might get him in contact with you as well to help vet and stuff.
Yeah, easy.
Um.
Oh, before we get too far from it, I want to round.
Did you
it
like
out
that
and say,
before? Someone get
taking
this man
your
an
point,
actor. I can.
The
Nino
condensing of
keeping
state legislation on the DOJ's part. Try to get that done.
Thank you,
Like
thank you,
putting the
thank you, thank
licenses
you.
Together, or just relevant legislation, pushing it together so that
You
it's all
should
in
grab
one spot.
Jaina. I know Jaina loves that
Yep.
shit.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I promise try to get her some work.
Okay. Well, anything else we want to discuss here? Pressing. Good meeting.
I think we're all seem like we're busy this week, right? We got shit to do.
Yep. Oh, a joint chief of staff meeting or whatever we want to call it. I know Turner wants to attend. He asked if he could attend this meeting. I told him we probably want him in a separate one. I think that's good because the more people we invite outside of legislative authorities, we're not going to be able to speak. I think more problems are going to come in that are outside of the purview of like the point of this. I am down for a meeting once a week or whatever with the sheriff, under sheriff, chief, ass chief, marshals, etc. If we do want to talk state of, let's call it like state related shit, right? Like be it pestilence, be it the Vinewood sign motherfucker, which apparently the guy that caught him, he's threatening to cut his dick off or his balls. I don't know.
I think the best way to do that would be to block it out, right? We tell everybody, hey, look, we can do this meeting. Who wants to come? What you want to talk about? And then, specifically for us, the justices, we can figure out who needs to be there, who can avoid the conflict of interest, right? Because we're going to need to build that. I think
Good point.
We need to know what it is.
Well, that's
I think,
true.
I think that'll work because I think it'll generally be an informative meeting, and it'll be like as the meetings happen. Like I think weekly isn't that crazy. I think the first few will probably be like heavier, but like once they happen on a regular basis, I think they'll be pretty short. Kind of like how these meetings will go. Like the next bunch of them are probably going to be pretty busy, where we have a lot to talk about, and then eventually we're just going to get to a point where it's like, hey, we're good. We don't got nothing to do.
Yeah, I just don't want to get to the point where it's like, okay, now we've got a court case on this, and none of us can even look at it because we've all been sat in these meetings, right? That's my only worry.
I think for those ones, it should probably be like one, maybe two of us.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just
to grab information.
Assess time zones and just be like, who's the most appropriate to sit this one the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck that much. I mean, I'll look into
Anything
it.
else?
I don't think so. None from me. Signee needs keys to Los Santos County.
State ID?
17174.
I'll do the MDT.
17174.
Yep, 17-17-4.
Yep.
The Los Santos County mayoral staff, is that right?
Yeah, that's the one they use.
Yep.
You have keys.
And MDT accents.
So you can go downstairs and get signed in.
Yeah, thank you so
Okay,
much.
easy. All right, beautiful. All right, very good. University legislation coming out next week. We'll talk next week about it.
Okay, cool.
All right,
So
easy.
next Monday,
Yep.
unless
one more
something
thing.
pops up, we want to come on Friday.
Perry's got something.
I got one more thing. I'm possibly
do it.
going to repeal the ERP Act.
You're denying ERP?
I'm denying the ethics review panel because no one fucking uses it. And the amount of pushback and fucking resistance I've been getting within the hospital, I am.
Wait, for what?
Screw ethics.
AK, if I had to quote somebody, you're not my boss.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Can't you just legislate that you're the boss?
I
She
can,
could.
but.
Come on, do it. Come on, let's go. Spice.
What about the ethics?
The ethics, yeah, the thing is like
It's review panel, then there's
Wait,
nothing
so-
to.
Question.
yes.
Well, what's the correlation?
What do you mean the correlation? As in like
Like, what's the pushback on the
It's-
ethics review panel?
they don't like having SAMA and
Accountability? Oh,
accountability for one, and they also don't like SAMA hovering, if it makes sense.
So,
Because
oh
with the
my
Marshall's
god.
legislatory,
hovering?
Oh,
but the medical authority, like,
yeah.
Wait,
Legislatively,
so-
you were
my-
voted in.
But my thing with that is, right, if you get rid of the ethics review panel, it's going to be up to the random state marshal
Yep.
that goes and sees what they think you're doing, rather than doctors and EMTs who understand what the job is.
I mean,
It's that, and it's also the thing of like, I've had it there, and then I still get people going, like, I don't know what to do. It's like, you can ERP them. I'm just gonna sue them. That we have this right here, like, so you don't have to go through.
Okay, Harry, has anybody used this at all ever?
No, like somebody's tried to start doing it, and then
Try something else. Try
I
something
think I
new,
remember
right?
hearing about
Try
what's
something.
happening.
Like, if it's just not being used, then why keep trying to force
Yeah.
it, right? Try something new. Like, write something else. Just try it again.
yeah. All right.
for what it's
But,
worth, you're facing the same issue every member of government faces or leader faces. 99.9% of the city wants to sit at the dinner table and eat and will not bring anything to the table. They will only cry, bitch, and moan, despite having the tools and means to make a difference. So it's
The people
we
bringing
face the
napkins
same
to the
thing.
potluck want to eat everything.
So until you
Just
put your
wants you to
foot
be-
down, put it
Just-
down. Feel like you gotta put it down. Stop him out.
That's what I'm saying. I'm all for Sam putting the fucking foot down.
Yeah.
New
I
summer,
have something
new summer
written.
directive. Big red button. Everybody gets fired. Start
Yeah.
again.
What's funny is I have a piece of legislation that I wrote that's just sitting there waiting if they do piss me off. So
I love that.
it's just there waiting.
That's like the standing army legislation that I've had written for like 6 months.
Oh,
The
What?
what now?
I won't ask.
Actually,
I won't
yeah,
ask. You
probably
know what?
probably not ask.
The Warren Sandy Shore again?
Oh,
Oh,
my
God.
god.
Oh god,
Am I
I
good to
was
stop the recording?
intern.
Yeah.
I just stopped in a minute.
All right.
Stop it right there. Yeah.
All right.
Lord.
All right.
When I wake up to everybody screaming the pred coats are coming, I'm just hiding under my bed, just so you all know.
Well, we call them
Oh,
the red
yeah.
cuts now.
Okay. Rebranding.
Yeah, because it's not just pred anymore.
Anything else? Or we good here?
I'm good. I'm great.
Easy.
Good.
All right. Good shit. All right.
Okay.
I'll get this
Good.
uploaded and I'll share it with everyone.
If not Friday,
Hey.
Monday.
We can go to the office.
If you
real
want a
quick.
Friday
Oh, wait,
meeting,
did we
you know where
decide-
to ping us all.
Did we decide when we wanted to do that meeting with the heads of the
Wait, what
everybody?
was?
This.
Someone will have to tell me when that meeting
Yeah.
is.
Oh, yeah.
I
No,
will.
you're right.
Bro,
We've asked 3 times.
We've been waiting months for
Ask
this.
the
This is
boss.
amazing.
I know. I know.
I did.
Yeah.
Who's not done it yet?
Yeah.
Grayson will show. I don't think you guys
we-
have done it yet.
Oh,
When
shit.
you're free, let's talk to Colin.
Okay,
Just
cool.
All right.
does it.
Just let me know.
Yeah.
Is there anything y'all need from me? I'll be
I mean,
around for a
why?
little
I'll
bit,
just-
so
I'll just-
feel
I'll
free to
just
give me
tell
a ring
Perry
if
you
you
I
need.
did
decide in
have
the
I did
DMs
have
or-
a